Today on Public Eye News, a high-speed chase forces the Mackinac Bridge to close. And later, farmers test out a new electric tractor developed at Michigan State University.
Bianca Kroll will have your weather forecast for the next couple days. Later, JT DeMock will bring you today's sports breakdown. I'm Dylan Dubé.
And I'm Aubrey Huddleston, and you're watching Public Eye News. A suspect is in custody after a high-speed chase occurred earlier this morning. The Mackinac Bridge was shut down following the chase that began in Chippewa County after the suspect was speedily passing other drivers. Police officers attempted to negotiate with the driver, who was flying westbound on US 2 in a stolen Chevy Equinox. As his speeds continued to soar to triple digits, dispatch managed to get the driver on the phone in an attempt to get him to pull over. The driver told officers he had a quarter tank of gas and no plans of stopping. The driver then headed south on 75 towards Portage, and eventually stop sticks were deployed, and by 9:30 a.m. the driver was stopped by law enforcement in St. Ignace. And the Elder Abuse Task Force is championing for new legislation concerning a surrogate consent statute. The bill aims to aid families in making healthcare decisions without the need for courts or attorneys. And if passed, the new law would reduce legal battles by improving patient care and creating a direct surrogate medical consent process. Michigan's Elder Abuse Task Force was created in 2019 to help protect the 100,000 people facing elder abuse in Michigan each year. The task force includes over 50 organizations and is divided into 7 committees working to aid the elder community in events such as fraud, incident reports, improving conservator and guardianship requirements, and more.
NMU has been featured for the first time ever on the annual Sustainable Campus Index, a system celebrating and documenting institutions leading the way in sustainability. Specifically, Northern appears in the institutional highlights section of high-impact projects and transformative initiatives that exemplify leadership and innovation, almost entirely for their commitment to completely pull its endowment funds from the fossil fuel industry by 2028. The index, published by the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education, recognizes NMU following the college's rise to the previous year's STARS Gold Institution status by the AASHE. NMU Assistant Vice President for Sustainability, Jess Thompson, says that Northern is one of the only 3 schools within the state that has achieved STARS Gold status. And an NMU team has recently surveyed NPS visitors about climate change. NMU professor Jess Thompson, accompanied by a pack of her students, have just completed their trip to 20 various U.S. national parks and 12 wildlife refuges, where they surveyed a multitude of visitors in the area on their perceptions of climate change. The group is partnering with the National Park Service as well as the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to utilize the data collected as a means to increase public awareness on climate change and produce educational materials for the future programs. The fieldwork had begun in January of this year and lasted throughout the summer, says Thompson. Some of the locations visited included the Everglades, Biscayne Bay, Joshua Tree, Yosemite, Grand Teton, and Rocky Mountain National Parks, as well as refuges in Colorado and Minnesota. And protests are continuing for a second day in response to ABC's decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air, following strong reactions to his comments about the suspect accused of assassinating conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Critics call the move an attack on free speech and alleged interference by the Trump administration. CBS's Natalie Brand reports from Washington. Take a look.
What do we do? Stand up, fight back!
Demonstrators protested outside ABC headquarters, and late-night hosts rallied around one of their own after ABC indefinitely suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Tonight, we are all Jimmy Kimmel.
We have another fun, hilarious, administration-compliant show.
While some hosts were sarcastic, late-night legend David Letterman was more blunt.
You can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful or trying to suck up to an authoritarian.
Kimmel's suspension came after this comment Monday.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
The remarks angered FCC head Brendan Carr, who told CNBC on Thursday he'll continue to hold broadcasters accountable to the public interest.
We are in the midst of a massive shift in dynamics in the media ecosystem for lots of reasons. again, including the permission structure that President Trump's election has provided. And I would simply say we're not done yet.
Speaking to reporters on his way back from the UK, President Trump even suggested revoking broadcast licenses for networks that cover him negatively.
They give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away.
CBS legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
Revoking a license is a nuclear option, and you cannot do it based on I don't like what you said.
The FCC's own website says the First Amendment and the Communications Act expressly prohibit the commission from censoring broadcast matter. Our role in overseeing program content is very limited. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your weather and statewide news after this break.
It was meant to shield us from the evils of drink. Instead, it triggered a wave of corruption.
Some call it bootlegging. I call it a business.
And violence.
There's bullets flying. It's like Dodge City here.
As a nation built on rights.
Everyone is breaking the law.
How did we go so wrong?
The average American says, "Who are you to tell me how to live?"
From Ken Burns, Prohibition.
Friday night at 9 on WNMU TV.
And welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Bianca Kroll, and here's our weather forecast for today. Looking at the campus cam behind me, it's looking pretty cloudy on campus, but hopefully we may be able to see some sunshine coming in. Now looking at the temperatures around the Upper Peninsula here, starting off in Houghton, it is 61 and cloudy. Ironwood 61 with some rain, 60 in Iron Mountain with continuing cloudy conditions here, and down in Menominee 66. Moving over to the other side of the map here, in Escanaba, also 66. Manistee, 67 with partly sunny skies. In the Sioux, 63 and sunny. And back here in Marquette, it is 61 and cloudy. Looking further into those current conditions, our winds are northeast at 10 miles per hour, and our barometric pressure is 30.19 inches and falling. Looking into tonight's conditions, we're going to see some mostly cloudy skies with a low 54, the winds east at 5 miles per hour, and our moon phase is going to be a waning crescent. And looking into tomorrow's forecast, we're going to see some thunderstorms with a high of 67, a low 58, and the wind southeast at 10 miles per hour. And looking ahead into the week, on Sunday, we're going to see a high of 69 with some rain and a low 58. Monday, we're going to see a high of 67, continuing that rain with a low 56. And Tuesday, a high of 65 with some mostly sunny skies and a low 55. That's all I have for the weather. Now back to the desk.
Thank you for that weather update, Bianca. It's nice to see that those fall conditions are starting very soon. And now into some more statewide news. A new electric vehicle has entered the agricultural market in the form of a battery-powered tractor. Developed by Michigan State University, this tractor does not aim to replace diesel-powered machinery, but instead offers sustainable farmers another alternative. The product is not perfect and often requires fast-powered chargers not available on most farms. However, during the tests, farmers commented on the advanced steering capabilities and the quiet sound of the vehicle. Agriculture is a large contributor to global warming, and while the emissions of tractors are not the leading cause, this new technology is a stepping stone towards more sustainable farming. And while the pandemic might be over, medical professionals are still encouraging people to stay up to date on their COVID vaccinations. The FDA recently approved the latest COVID shot for those 65 and older and those ages 5 to 64 with one underlying high-risk health condition. Michigan's Chief Medical Executive, Dr. Natasha Bagdasarian, also advocates for the availability of the vaccine to anyone 6 months or older who may be seeking it. Dr. Bagdasarian says that vaccines are the best defense against severe outcomes of the virus, and her standing recommendation protects the accessibility of the vaccine in the state of Michigan. And today, a CDC advisory committee is set to weigh delaying COVID and hepatitis B vaccines. The expected vote, one day after changing the recommendation for the MMRV vaccine, CBS's Jared Hill has the latest.
A significant vaccine shakeup potentially on the horizon.
No conflicts of interest, yes.
8-3 with one abstaining, the CDC's new vaccine advisory panel voted Thursday to change its MMRV vaccine recommendation. Instead of a combined shot protecting against measles, mumps, rubella, and varicella or chickenpox when a child turns 1, the committee is suggesting parents wait until they turn 4. For kids under 4, the new recommendation, 2 different shots separating chickenpox from the MMR vaccine.
Removing unnecessary risks and harms whenever possible.
The panel, brought on by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a longtime vaccine critic.
This committee is illegitimate.
The American Academy of Pediatrics pushed back, offering its own immunization schedule instead. Vaccine supporters point to examples like the measles shot. After it was introduced in 1963, cases plummeted 97%.
Much of the data is considered pretty settled.
Dr. Jody Guest is the Senior Vice Chair of the Department of Epidemiology at Emory University.
There's not new evidence out there that we have been following that would show that you would want to change the guidance.
Today, the advisory panel is set to look into more changes, including whether hepatitis B vaccines should continue to be given on the day of birth or a month later. The panel also taking up COVID-19 shots. Jared Hill, CBS News.
JT DeMock will be back with your sports report after this short break. Stay tuned.
Tune in to the heartbeat of the Upper Peninsula. At Public Radio 90, we're more than just a frequency on your dial. We're your trusted home for national public radio. Let our diverse blend of music be the soundtrack to your day. Public Radio 90, where community comes alive. Tune in and let your imagination soar. Don't miss Weekday with Hans Ahlstrom, Monday through Friday from 3 to 4.
You're listening to member-supported Public Radio 90, WNMU FM.
Hello, I'm JT DeMog, here to break down the happenings in the sports world. First off, the Detroit Tigers got swept by a red-hot Cleveland Guardians team yesterday afternoon with a final score of 3-1. Tigers ace, reigning AL Cy Young winner Tarik Skubal was on the bump for this crucial game. Skubal was solid in his 18th start of the season, allowing just 1 run on 7 hits through 6 innings, while also striking out 9 Cleveland hitters, setting a career high in season strikeouts, surpassing last year's total of 228. Cleveland has now won 7 straight games, narrowing Detroit's division lead to just 3.5. The Tigers welcome the Atlanta Braves to Comerica Park for a 4-game weekend series. Tonight's game is at 6:40 p.m. with Charlie Morton expected to start for the Tigers. Moving to the pitch now, where the Northern Michigan University men's soccer team returns home to open GLIAC conference play with a single match against the University of Wisconsin Parkside. This will be the 5th matchup for the Cats this season, who hold a record of 1-0-3. The Wildcats ended last weekend's road trip with 2 draws against regionally ranked opponents Lewis and Lake Erie. A low-scoring affair that saw Toon Van Hunswinkle score the lone goal for the Wildcats, with junior defenseman Owen Rutledge being named this week's GLIAC Defensive Player of the Week. The Wildcats enter this week 9th ranked in the Midwest region and are averaging 12 shots on goal per game. The game today against UW Parkside ended 3-1 in favor of Parkside. And finishing things over on the gridiron, where the Northern Michigan University football team will welcome Davenport University to kick off GLIAC conference play. The Wildcats are in search of their first victory since the 2022 season finale after nearly pulling off a historic upset over Division I St. Thomas University last weekend. Northern will field a 25th ranked defense while holding their last 2 opponents to less than 25 points. The Cats are led by captain linebacker Jax Hurdle, who is coming off a career game against St. Thomas where he racked up 14 tackles with 3 tackles for loss. The Wildcats offensively average 54 run plays per game and will rely heavily on running backs Jahi Wood and Noah Dobert to set the tone early against a lackluster Davenport defense. Kickoff for that one is set for this Saturday at 1 p.m. That's all I have for sports. Now back to the desk.
Thank you for that sports update, JT. So Dylan, do you think the football team can pull out a win?
Hopefully. I think Davenport's sort of like an easier team on their matchup, so I'm hoping that going into this game they're going to have more odds in their favor. I mean, just coming off St. Thomas, a Division I school, they've got to have their confidence that they held them within a score.
Yeah, I just hope they can score for the first time in the last, 3 years?
Last 3 years.
Yep. Yeah. That's all the time we have today on Public Eye News. I'm Aubrey Huddleston.
I'm Dylan Dubé.
And we'll see you on Monday.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.